Welcome into this episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you. Great to have you along here on this week. It's a hot one at that, but today we got Mike Montano with us, who's head of strength and conditioning. And this episode is brought to you by Kevin Frazier. Kevin Frazier, ag department right now. I got blue and gold sausage coming. We were talking about that beforehand. I could use a few sticks. I think you spent your money getting that stuff.
Yeah, I got about $70 worth of it. So.
Hey, how's it going transitioning into? I know you're helping with football, and that's a big part of what you do. You come in, but how's it going? The transition kind of into this season, being the strength and conditioning, and on top of that with football.
It's a little bit different, just because my hands more. I'm more around those kids more than I have been. Yeah. Being over at West last year teaching science, it's a, it was a sprint to get to practice, so on. So now I'm there, and I'll be there for the kids when they need me, and so on. So it's a little bit easier on me. The strength and conditioning part ain't nothing to me. I've been doing it for 7-8 years now, so it's just another year.
And everybody has their focuses when it comes to strength and conditioning. So kind of what are the things you're kind of focusing on to get the athletes better?
I want to make them as explosive and as strong and as fast as we can. There's a lot of guys that just want to focus on one area, but at the root of everything, you got to have absolute strength. And once your absolute strength goes up, the amount of explosiveness you have, and then that'll go up, and then your speed will go up along with it. You know what I mean? So just trying to build a good culture in there, make it fun. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you were here last year, of course, but like I said, kind of assuming the strength and conditioning part. Talk about the journey kind of to Ponca. So tell us kind of your background and what led you to here.
Okay, I'm from southeastern Oklahoma. Well, it's not really south, but it's eastern.
Yeah.
Stigler, America, over there. Just
My neck of the woods, by the way.
Yeah, about 45 minutes southeast of Muskogee, so it's not too far. Yep. I started coaching at Quinton High School out of college, and played college football, all that, Started coaching at Quinton, was there for 2 years, then went to Sallisaw for 4, and then after Sallisaw, kind of ended up here. And I like it. I love it.
Yeah, I know you're from Sallisaw. We've talked about that, and I'm originally from Gans, Oklahoma. I didn't know you were going to be the one we were talking to today. We had a switch around because I would have tried to dig up some dirt on you because back in Sallisaw, I know a few people back there.
Yeah. It was good. We won when I was there. We won 2 playoff games, and just trying to win.
So Ponca, what ultimately kind of made you want to come to Ponca City?
When I talked to Harmon, me and him kind of clicked right away. We're along, we're really good buddies, and we got along really well right off the bat. And all my friends that I know, and being a young coach, most young coaches don't have a huge coaching tree. I got a pretty decent one, you know what I mean. And so everybody was telling me he's a good dude, and he'd be a good guy to work for. And I talked to Rolo, and I wanted to learn under him. You know what I mean? The goal was to be a DC eventually, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, well, it's strength and conditioning now, which, to be honest with you, if you talk on a college level especially, they'll tell you the second most important person in the football program is the strength and conditioning guy, and we're seeing that now trickle down even to high school level as the strength and conditioning programs. A great example of that is look at what Bixby's put into their strength and conditioning program, and look at the rewards that they have reaped because of that.
Yeah. And, I spent a lot of time making workouts for those kids, those football players, and we had a great off season. You know what I mean? I could throw numbers at you, but some people probably wouldn't believe me. We had kids go, we're talking. I watched the last episode y'all had. You talking about Haas? He went from like a 385 squat to a 500 squat, and he's got nothing but faster, bigger, and stronger. Off of that, and it's helped him tremendously. He's already talked to me about it, and he's just one. We've had a lot of kids like that, and we had a big buy-in, and just kind of waiting to put that all out on the field.
I was talking about Harmon even this week. Talked to him, and that was the thing I noticed. And I know there's some guys here before you as well, and everybody has different philosophies, but it takes years of good strength and conditioning to get where you want to go. But I walked on the field at Bartlesville, and it finally seemed like just the strength and conditioning. It's kind of like you play college ball. You walk out and it's a high school and a different college.
Yeah.
There's a difference in 6A ball and Class A ball and all that. And you were at Salisal, you understand small class.
Yeah.
This team overall, strength and conditioning wise, looks as in best shape as I've seen since I've been here. So that's certainly a testament to you and the guys before you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I mean, it just goes to show, those kids that they work their tails off. I tell them all the time, I can make workouts here and there, and try to help, but you got to do it. And those kids bought into that and hit head on and worked as hard as they could, and they're showing the benefits from it. So.
Well, and you could talk to any coach, and this is a little, I being in a relationship with OSU, I hear some things all the time, and a lot of times strength and conditioning, you find out more about a kid's personality than you do on the field. Are they going to show up regularly? Are they going to work hard when they're in there? Are they going to stay focused? Or do they want to be better? I mean, there's a lot of traits that you find in that personal connection right there in a weight room and on 100%. The track conditioning that lead into success on the field outside of the strength and conditioning part of it.
100%. You know what I mean? That you could tell from day one who are the guys and who ain't. You know what I mean? Or who are the girls and who ain't. I'm really excited to kind of get to work with all the groups. Talking with Amy and her, and how we're going to work with all the groups, even the non-athletes. I'm really excited. I want to make it fun. They think that they think it's going to be like a dungeon in there. I want to make it fun, but I mean, there's going to be some rules and there's going to be some standards. And like today, showing up on time and stuff like that for us in the weight room is a big deal for me because we don't have so much time.
Right.
And working the whole time you're in there. But, it's going to take some going, some growing pains, but it is what it is. And, building those relationships with kids. Once they figure out you care about them, they'll run through a wall for you.
No doubt.
And I think that's why we had such a good off season in football, with football. But, I'm really, really, really happy and hoping and anxious to get my hands on all of them, you know what I mean, and work on them.
Well, I know you got long days coming because of football season too, and your duties there. But last year you come in, you help kind of with strength conditioning, but now you're doing strength conditioning. So how's your role with the football team maybe changed since you've stepped into this head strength and conditioning job?
Not really changed. You know what I mean. There's not really a head. We're even. You know what I mean. And everything we do, I talk with her about, and she talks with me about. So we're codes on that. But I mean, it hadn't really changed. You know what I mean. I'm gonna be the same person I've always been. I'm gonna bring the intensity. I'm gonna work hard. You know what I mean. I feel like if you're gonna ask your kids to work hard, like I ask my kids, football. I ask my kids. You better be doing it yourself. You got to walk the walk, and so that's what I do. I mean, and like I said, I've been doing it for 8 years. When I was at Southside, I did every sport, imaginable that we had. Every sport, I trained them all. So it's not really a big transition. We got more sports here, but you know what I mean? It's just trying to help every sport get better at their specific sport. And
having a I mean, that's the other thing. That has to be really helpful because that's a luxury a lot of people don't have.
Yeah. You know what I mean? More sets of eyes, and she's the same way I am when it comes to certain things, like, being there, being on time, working hard, stuff like that. So we get along pretty well when it comes to that. You know what I mean? And it helps. When I'm on one side of the weight room, she can be on the other one, helping helping whoever if they need help while I'm over here helping them. So, you've been in the weight room before when you got 60 kids in there, you get pulled in all directions if there's only one guy. You know what I mean? But when you got a it helps a lot.
Well, I remember weight room for me was the opposing locker room is just a few benches, but small school, you know how that goes. Yeah. And I remember, I think back now, and I did well on weights, but just thinking about how much better I could have been with the training that is out there today and the research that is out there today, and that's the next thing. I know you're a coach, you're very hands-on, but there's a research portion to this too because stuff's changing all the time. and there's new little intricacies here or there you can adjust to be better for your kids. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you spend a lot of time asking others what they're doing, if they're doing it right, and you want to take from that, and also maybe reading something saying, hey, how do I incorporate this to what we're doing?
Yeah. For example, I reached out to Coach Myers over at Bixby. I believe he's got the best. Him and Wasso, they got the two best strength conditioning programs in the state. It's not close. It's not close.
Yeah.
So those are the two guys I reached out to. I know them, on a personal level. I can talk to them, and I reached out to them, and they just told me kind of the blueprint that they do, and you know what I mean. And it's along the same lines of what I've already been doing, little tweaks here and there. But yeah, and research, like you were saying. Like right now, I'm reading a big, 1,000-page book. Something like that. I should have brought it, but it's huge. It's a textbook.
Don't try to get me to read that thing. I'm past my reading days, man.
Yeah, it's a textbook, but like just learning more and more and more and more and more. Like you said, nothing's ever set in stone with what I do now. Strength conditioning. Everything's always changing. There's always something. There's always a new advancement in something, and you want to do your research before you go get it.
Well, I think an important thing to remember is when you ask the kids to put in so much to what they do, you want to give that back to them. So that means going home and putting in your homework as well.
Yeah.
That's what you do, because you want those kids to know, you want to lead by that example. I'm going to do the best I can for those kids. And it's also the fact you care about those kids.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie to you, it took me a while to learn the clean progressions that we do. It is what it is, but that's the best exercise in the world for any athlete, whatever sport you play. I don't care what you do.
It gives you a little bit of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's full body explosiveness, it's everything. So that's my favorite lift to teach, and me, what I think, if you're a strength and conditioning coach, you ought to be able to get in there and show them how to do it. If you can't get in there and show them how to do it, you probably don't need to be in this field. That's just my opinion. So sometimes you might walk in there and I'm showing them how to do a power pull or hang drop or something like that, and I'm showing them how to do it, and I'm hitting the main points and hitting all the things and making sure they know what they need to do. Sometimes
it's easy to go to the weight room and do it, but do it correctly is the problem.
Yeah, and that's what I focus with my football guys. I had my hands in the wrestling group a little bit this summer. Volleyball, I helped out with them a little bit. Amy really ran that show, you know what I mean? Just walking around coaching the big points, you know what I mean? But, I want them to do it right so they don't get hurt.
Right.
Because playing college ball, when I was at NEO, everybody squatted over 700 pounds on the defensive line. Watch a dude lose 2 fingers, not spotting right, you know what I mean? It's not, it's just doing little things like that not right. It's going to get somebody hurt, and I want to reiterate that to those kids. It's really important. Safety is the most important thing, so you got to do stuff right.
Yeah, well, let's get a little bit to football. I mean, you got the heat, strength and conditioning. You probably go back where, you'd be practicing more in this, but now they got the wet bulb. They want to keep every safety. I totally understand that. Yeah. But it's been kind of I would say, even going back to last week with the travel issues, it's been kind of a wild couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's been crazy, but you adapt and overcome. You do what you can do. We've been going like we have been to help those kids. You know what I mean? Kind of beat that heat so we can get our practice in. And me and Coach Harm and all of us, we've all been on those kids about hydrating and eating and not skipping meals. Stuff like that. And that's something else that we're going to hit in our strength conditioning class. It's not just going to be strength conditioning, and we're going to touch on nutrition and how to eat right, you know what I mean, and do stuff right,
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can't go in there, if you work out and you're so depleted and you can't go in there the next day, you're not gaining anything.
Yeah.
So, it's that nutritional and the hydration part of it, that's a very important part of strength and conditioning.
Yeah, that, we talked about that a lot this off season, and you could definitely see the difference in some of the kids. Darwin, you've seen Darwin from
no doubt, yeah.
Darwin Foster, you know what I mean, and Haas and those guys that actually, you can tell them 100 things, but they got to go do it. You know what I mean, and those kids really bought into that, and they reap huge benefits from it. And I mean, we're starting to get to that. Everybody's starting to get to that, and that's just going to the other sports too. They need to understand. Even if you play golf, you need to be hydrated and be ready to go, and you need to have a meal in your stomach before you go do some activity and stuff like that. Even if it's a Pop-Tart or something, get something in your stomach. Because a lot of kids don't like to eat before they lift.
No, you're exactly right. So, and you need that. I mean, you're burning those calories. You need that. So, there's a lot of stuff to it. That's for sure. But I'm excited to see what you do with this program going forward. Very excited to see football get started on Friday night. And I know, for you, you're sitting out there, and the goal is every time y'all walk out in the field, you may not win the game, but you don't want any doubt that you guys were bigger, faster, stronger. That's kind of the ultimate goal of a weight coach with football, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think we're going to see that, Coach Harm told me at the end of this off, it was the best offseason he's had, football-wise. Now, like I tell those kids, it's now you got to put it on the field. You got to put it on the field, and, you got to take the attitude that you had in the weight room out on the field. And if they do that, it'll definitely show, you know what I mean? But I'm really excited to get it going. You know how I am about my defensive linemen. So I'm ready. I'm itching to go, man. I'm itching to go.
Well, you got a good anchor on one side of it for sure with Hudson. And then, I like the way the defensive line looks. So you can start a lot of ball. It all starts in the trenches, doesn't it?
Yeah, we got some young guys, but they're picking it up really well. We had that transition of Avon Hobbs. He's learning really well. He's came a long ways, and you got
to get that almost that killer mentality though on defensive line, don't you? That's kind of the thing. Is like you're over there, you got the tools, you got everything, but you got to have a killer instinct because there's so much that you can do that affects the play that you may not get on the stat sheet.
And like Ramsey, I told him before the scrimmage, I don't care if you make 35 tackles all year, but if the dude behind you makes 145, that says a lot about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're taking a double team, triple team every play, and that's man position. So, he understands that and he does that. You know what I mean? And he plays as hard as he can.
Yeah.
And I can't knock any of them. Their effort's great. So, we just got we got a young group, and I'm getting them coached up the best I can, and we're gonna advance the best we can.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Get started on Friday night. Strength and conditioning never ends, though.
No, it don't.
It's a year-long thing.
We were literally in the office planning out how we were going to do stuff. Pretty much met with every head coach, because like I said in the coaches meeting, I wanted to meet them halfway. You know what I mean? I don't just want to say, hey, this is how we're running it,
right?
Because it is at the end of the day, it's your program. It's you're the tennis coach. You're the swimming coach. Your football.
Here's what I recommend, but what do you think you need out of your kids?
Yeah. What do you want to work on? Do you want them to get more flexible? Do you want them to get more explosive? And tailoring that to each individual sport. And it's definitely fun. I like doing that stuff. It's like a puzzle to me. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's fun.
Well, and if you like the people you work around too.
It's a good time. It's fun. And like I said, I just can't wait to get the school year going. I know we start tomorrow, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to get it going.
I can tell you've been busy though, and you're saying you don't even know it starts tomorrow. So
been working, man. Been working.
It started for you. It started for you way back when, right?
Yeah.
So maybe more hours now, but you were working pretty much every weekday, all summer long.
Yeah.
Except for I guess you have the one dead period they can't do anything.
Yeah,
right?
that's the only time. So. But yeah, it was. That's always good, and the way we build our stuff is we ended up on a deload week, and it was kind of a perfect line, like a lining of the stars, for the kids, and it helped them out a lot. So
yeah. Well, Mike, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for coming in. Good to talk to you here on Coach's Corner. And this episode has been brought to you, Kevin Frazier. And once again, that just reminds me with the ag program here in Ponca City, the Blue and Gold Sausage is going. My grandpa was an ag teacher for 40 plus years. My cousin's teaching ag now back in Gans. I get my hands on blue and gold sausage anytime I can. You should too, and you'll know why if you ever have any. Yeah. Bacon's pretty good too, isn't it?
It is.
But that's going to do it. Mike Montano been with us, and that'll do it for this episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff saying so long. Until next time, Go Cats.